Hey YouTubers, if you like what you see, make sure you click subscribe below. This is week 12 of our Thursday night triple threat episode. And as you can see by the camera setup, it's going to be a little pie in the face for the punishment. You'll never guess who lost.
There's 5 in a row for me? Or
At least 4.
6 in a row?
In a world where losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option, we present to you Triple Coverage Podcast.
Coming to you live from TCP Studios in Las Vegas, Nevada, Jay Up and James Up are your co-hosts for everything fantasy football related. So sit back, crack a cold one, and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Triple Coverage Podcast. It is week 12 of our Thursday night triple threat episode. We are here, and I know we're getting towards the end of our Thursday night game. There's only a couple left.
Yeah. Was it week 12 already?
Week 12 already, yeah. And we got some good division games that have been played in the last few weeks. And then we have another one for this coming Thursday. So let's start off with a little recap of week 11. It was the Steelers and the Browns. We both called it last week. I actually liked the over for some stupid reason, but I did say it was a trap bet, and Cleveland was going to win the game straight up. There was no reason for Cleveland to be favored. Pittsburgh was on a roll. They won 4 straight, and the Browns have won 1 game out of their last 5. So why was Cleveland favored? It's because Cleveland was going to win this game, and Vegas obviously knows why, and they won 21-7. But the whole entire game was overshadowed because of the last 8 seconds of the game.
Yeah, he's talking about Myles Garrett. I'm James Up, by the way. He was talking about Myles Garrett and the Mason Rudolph. So my first thing was, when I saw it, was obviously it was brutal. And he being Garrett, is very lucky that when he grabbed the helmet by the face mask and hit him over the head, that a little bit of the padding kind of softened the blow. And Rudolph took it like a champ, by the way. If that would have been to the side a little bit or with no padding at all, I don't know how that wouldn't have knocked him out completely, or at least cut him really bad. And I didn't even see him bleeding. Did you?
No, I think that if the helmet would have been flipped over,
yeah,
like it would have been the
crown. That's what I mean, or even the side of the helmet. I mean,
right.
any part of the helmet. But I have to say, like, did Mason Rudolph, after he was already on the ground,
right.
Okay, first it all started by him getting tackled after he let go of the ball. He got kind of driven into the ground, if you will. And he didn't like it, but he started grabbing Myles Garrett's helmet and like trying to twist it off. And it was because he was trying to get him off them. I don't know what he was saying. Who knows? We'll never know probably until 10 years from now when the mic'd up, comes out on ESPN, and we're gonna hear what actually happened. But you got a guy that's 270 pounds on you that won't get off you, that just drove you in the ground after you got rid of the ball. I know why he's mad. I'm not saying that he has no right to be mad, but he starts grabbing his helmet with 2 hands and starts pulling and twisting and tugging on this guy's helmet. Of course, now you're Garrett. Regardless if you're in the wrong or you hit him hard or you hit him, after the play, you're not going to like that. That hurts. I know for a fact that hurts. So he gets up and now he's pissed. Pouncey comes over, gets a little punch and a kick in. And before you know it, he's got 3 dudes on him. And so Garrett, who grabs Mason Rudolph by the helmet, pulls it so hard that he pulls it off. Now, at that point, if you're Mason Rudolph, the guy's off you now. Your offensive linemen have now stuck up for you. They're holding him back. They've already gotten a couple of punches and kicks in. It's done. From my standpoint, watching on TV, I know you're pissed. I get it. I know you're a big boy, but compared to Myles Garrett, you're a child, okay? You're now without a helmet on, trying to attack a defensive lineman that's twice your size without a helmet on when he has your helmet in his hand, being held back by 2 other guys. Not saying Mason Rudolph deserved it by any means, but why, if you're him, do you continue to try to go after and grab and tackle or swing or whatever on Garrett at that point when it's over? Like, what did he think was going to happen? Did he think Garrett, did he think he was going to beat him up? Did he think that he was going to punch him? I'm not sure if I'm Mason Rudolph at that point, what you're expecting to happen. The guy has your helmet in your hand. You don't have the helmet on anymore. The fight's been broken up by your offensive lineman who've already gotten 2 cheap shots on him. Then he gets hit from behind again by another guy. At what point do you okay, I'm not going to win this fight. I need to take a step back.
I think that the media, kind of blows up things, and obviously the NFL is going to suspend him. We all knew he was going to get suspended. Even his teammates.
He deserves to get suspended,
and
for
he
sure.
does.
Yeah.
But I was surprised that a lot of former NFL players that spoke out on it and said, this type of stuff, like maybe not to the severity, but this type of stuff happens every week,
Right.
Even during like preseason and OTAs with
There's
teammates,
scuffles and
people trying to pull helmets off of each other and like taking punches and like it. So this happens all the time. But the fact that it was on Thursday Night Football, so it was like nationally televised and everyone's watching. It makes it 10 times worse.
No.
Now, what Garrett did
Right.
was absolutely, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, swinging the helmet. But the fact that Mason Rudolph got no suspension whatsoever when he's the guy that started the initial like fight. I get it. He was tackled hard, but that happens all the time.
Right.
That happens every single game. Every single game it happens.
They would have thrown a penalty flag and the penalty would have happened, and that should have been the end of it.
But if you watch the replay, even if you watch it in slow-mo, while Garrett is actually trying to get up, after he laid on him for a couple seconds, he's trying to get up. Rudolph grabs his face mask and the back of his helmet and tries twisting his head to get the helmet off. Then when you watch the slow-mo replay, he kicks him in the balls with cleats. So no one knows what words were said at that point, which I'm sure it was something, but no words are heard. And so now
you saw what he said though when the dude pushed him down.
So he kicks him in the balls.
Yeah.
He tried to twist his helmet off, and now Garrett's like, "Oh, now you want to grab helmets? Let's grab helmets." So he grabs his helmet, and he's successful with getting the helmet off.
Pretty easily.
Pushed back by two guys, like you said, and then Mason Rudolph continues to be the aggressor.
Right. I think the line was crossed when Rudolph didn't have his helmet on and still was trying to attack Myles Garrett,
aggressor.
like he was going in to create damage and trying to hurt Garrett because he felt slighted that he got a late hit on him and didn't get up immediately. And that's fine. And I'm not saying that anyone is like in the wrong for sticking up for Rudolph, because that's what you want your offensive lineman to do. I know Pouncey's a dog. He's got his teammates back and he's looking for a fight. Let's just be honest with you. I don't care if it was Mason Rudolph or if it was Terry Bradshaw on the sideline. Like, he's looking for a fight.
He was going to stick up with him.
He's going to stick up for him no matter what, because that's him. And I get that. And I agree. He should have been suspended as well, which he was. But it took a turn when the player's helmet comes off 99 times out of 100 in an NFL game. We're not talking about OTAs, training camp. We're not talking about scuffles in practice. In an NFL game, when a player's helmet comes off, I would say 99 times out of 100, people back away and it's over because of implications that this could have been assault, like something that he could have went to jail for, using the helmet as a weapon. As big as he is, to overhand slam it on someone's head could have caused major injury to Mason Rudolph. Like, he could have lost consciousness. He could have got a concussion. He could have split his head open. Like, he could have never been the same again. And I know that people are laughing at that, but it's a helmet that you're swinging with a 270-pound guy, overhand the top and hit him on top of the head. Like, he could have went to jail for that. And that's being real. And the fact that Mason Rudolph just threw caution to the wind, could you imagine you trying to go after Myles Garrett, who just ripped your helmet off and has it in his hand, trying to still attack him? Like, what do you think was going to happen? Like, Mason Rudolph, what in his mind when that was going on, was he like, that's it, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna beat him up? Like, what did he possibly think was gonna happen? Whatever it was not what he expected. I guarantee you that, because he got an overhand right from a helmet.
Yeah, the thing that made me mad about it and kind of made me sway away from the whole Mason Rudolph side of things, even though he got hit in the head with a helmet, was the post-game conference afterwards.
Yeah.
When he said that what Myles Garrett did was Bush League and cowardly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you started it and you
tried to finish it,
and you tried to be the aggressor on it. Like why is he like that? That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I think he should have been suspended for at least minimum 2 games.
I agree.
Mason Rudolph.
I agree. But if Myles Garrett would have dropped the helmet and punched him, do you think it would have been the same?
No.
Or do you think it's just because he used the helmet? And I think that when he grabbed the helmet and was holding it in his hand, I don't believe that he, in my opinion, when watching the video 50 times, I don't believe that if Rudolph would have walked away right there, I don't believe that Garrett would have continued to try to attack him or hit him. It was only because he came back again, trying to pull and tug and trying to swing at him. Then I don't even think he honestly realized that it was still in his hand. Well, he just hit him with it.
If you watch it, Garrett isn't being like aggressive once they get in front of him. Once the offensive line like pushes him back, like he was backpedaling and he was like standing straight up. He wasn't like, hold me back.
No.
He wasn't like trying to push forward. Like, he was going backwards, and then here comes Mason Rudolph charging at him.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that Myles Garrett is a bigger guy, and he should be like, okay, well, he's Mason Rudolph, he's a quarterback, he's not going to hurt me. But What would anybody? So because you're a little bit bigger, you're gonna let some guy just charge at you and
Mason. Let's not forget Mason Rudolph's probably 6'6" and at least 240 pounds. Like it's not like he's a tiny. It's not like it was Brian Hoyer or Doug Flutie, going after him. Like Mason Rudolph is a young guy, probably 25 years old, and he's 6'5", 200. It's not like he's a tiny kid. Myles Garrett grabbed his helmet and yanked it off like he was a child. I was like, at that point, if I'm Mason Rudolph, I'm scared for my life. I am not trying to attack him without my helmet on.
6'5", 235.
There you go. 6'5", 235 for Mason Rudolph.
So he's not a tiny guy.
He picked him up like he was like a 12-year-old kid and was like, oh, you're going to take helmet off? Here, blink. Here's your helmet, little guy. And then when you still attacked him, he's like, oh, you still want more. Meanwhile, it wasn't like you said. It wasn't a one-on-one where it was like two of these guys in a street ball. He's getting held back by already two offensive linemen and swinging over them and still connected and hit him in the head.
Yeah, I think
picked the wrong battle there, Mason.
I think the suspension on Garrett was in the right. I think the suspension on the on Pouncey and the other
D
lineman for the Browns, I think that was on the right. I think the only place that the NFL failed on this was not giving Rudolph a suspension.
It makes it, you know what? Honestly, it makes a soft NFL look softer with how they treat their quarterbacks. It's like you can't touch them, you can't hit them, you can't look at them.
And even when they're charging at you, you can't do anything to them.
You're charging at you with no helmet on, trying to swing at you. Like, again, neither one of us is saying that what he did was right, but the fact that Mason Rudolph was able to attack him two separate times and still come after him without a helmet on and got no suspension whatsoever, it just shows that the NFL is protecting their quarterbacks at all costs, even to the point of this guy was allowed to get into a damn street brawl and nothing happened.
You're allowed to try to take his helmet off, right? You can take his helmet off.
That's fine.
You can grab him by the face mask.
That's
the defensive
fine.
lineman.
Mm-hmm.
You can kick him in the balls.
That's fine.
And you can also charge at him without a helmet on, like you're going to do something to him. Even
Totally
though he's
fine.
probably not.
Totally
that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
No suspension. We're going to give you a fine. Oh, that's really going to hurt him bad.
That's exactly what they're saying. As far as the actual game goes, 21-7, it was boring as hell to watch, except for, like Jay said, the last 8 seconds. Nick Chubb, 92 yards, but he had 27 carries.
Yeah.
And again, Odell Beckham is just a guy in this offense now. It's getting hard to watch. Like all this talent this guy supposedly has. Kareem Hunt had another 6 catches for 46 yards. I'm really liking him in PPR leagues.
Yeah.
He basically didn't lose anything. He came right in and had 8 targets. He's second on the team to Odell Beckham's 10. But Jarvis Landry, again, Jay, coming through with a touchdown, staying ahead of Odell Beckham in the PPR rankings, which is what I told you preseason would happen. But on the Pittsburgh side, they will not let Mason Rudolph throw the ball, and it's getting freaking annoying. He has 4 interceptions this game. And Cleveland's secondary is not that good to have 4 interceptions, but I'm looking at their targets, and he threw to everyone on the entire field, but mostly Juju gets hurt this game, Deontay Johnson gets hurt this game, they now are bringing in Deion Kane. I don't know how this team's 5-5, to be honest with you, but it's only downhill from here. Do you agree?
Yeah,
they might not win another game.
I mean, but they have a pretty easy matchup, so they have a couple of easy games left, so they will win. I see this team finishing at like 7-9. At the
they play at Cincinnati next week.
Best case scenario, 8-8. That's the best case scenario for Pittsburgh Steelers, and 8-8 might be worth the number 6 spot in the AFC. So they're not out of it by any means. I just didn't think this was a good setup for them against this Cleveland Browns team.
From week 12 right now, moving forward, assuming Juju's out, like just take Juju out of the equation.
Right.
What wide receiver for Pittsburgh do you believe in the most between James Washington, Deontay Johnson, Deion Kane, and the rest of the bunch? What guy here do you trust the most?
It's James Washington is the guy I trust the most, and it kind of sucks because he's like their deep threat guy. So like he's the guy that
he was, but I think now he has to be more than that. And the last couple of games he had 3 catches for 49 yards on 5 targets. But I think his targets now got to go up. James Washington needs a minimum of 8 targets. A minimum of 8 targets.
Yeah, I don't know if Deontay Johnson even plays this next week.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, basically
he got a concussion and it was so bad that he was bleeding from his ear.
It seems like what Mason Rudolph should have had when he got hit in the helmet.
Yeah,
so he was worse off than Mason.
Deontay Johnson bled, but Mason Rudolph didn't.
Mason Rudolph took that to the head like it was WWE when they used to slam chairs on each other's head, and you're like, oh my god, like he didn't even phase them. It was like when Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior are like building up their steam, and they're you hitting them with it, and they just don't affect. When he got hit,
I guarantee you hurt the next
I was
day.
like, what the? How did he not fall down on that? I don't even care. So what? There's a pad on it. You're still getting hit by overhand, tomahawk.
Let's not forget also that James Conner did come into this game not healthy, even though they tried to say he was healthy, and he got re-injured. Like he re-injured his shoulder, so I don't think he plays. He needs the rest.
To me,
And so
James
that's why I love
Conner's,
Jalen Samuels.
he's not the answer. I love Jalen Samuels going forward as well. You want to keep talking for a second while I set up my loss?
Yeah, just real quick, I'll go over the Cleveland side of things while you set up your big loss here. So Nick Chubb gets 27 carries like you talked about. Doesn't go over the century mark, but you can kind of see how the Browns want to use the Chubb and Hunt connection. I think that they'd be better off doing carries and targets with both guys because now Chubb is not getting any targets. He had 1 target, 0 catches. Hunt had 8 targets, 6 catches. So you can see they want to use him as like a secondary receiver. It's almost like a better version of Duke Johnson that they had
it's
when
like
they wanted to run
updated version
right
of
when
that.
they wanted to run the 2 guys. So I see what they're trying to do, and I actually like it. And they're giving Hunt 6-7 carries a game. That was a
That came out a lot.
That's okay though. You have it on the towel. It's all right. But in my opinion, I think they should also give Chubb some targets too. Put both guys out there in the field at the same time. That way you don't know.
I know that's because you're a Chubb owner in multiple leagues. That's why you think that.
But
as far as the success of the team,
in 2 leagues too.
but as far as the success of this team so far, when Hunt's come back, they're 2-0 with Hunt in the starting lineup getting those catches and targets, and I think that it was something that was missing from that backfield. And yes, they can throw to Chubb, but it's just a whole different dynamic when you have a runner that's as fast as Kareem Hunt. They can get to the outside and spell out a little bit of break for Chubb, so he doesn't have to do everything by himself. That keeps Chubb's legs fresher for the second half, and that allowed him to get 27 carries. I mean, let's see, Hunt only got 6 touches, 6 carries, I should say. He only got 6. So if Chubb now is guaranteed to get 18 to 20 carries, that's all I want as a Chubb owner. If he gets a couple of catches, that's a bonus now. But right now, I'm looking at if Hunt, as a Hunt owner, if he can get 4 to 6 carries and he's still getting 4 to 8 catches, both guys are very playable. Obviously, Chubb's a more value there, but Kareem Hunt is an easy flex play, if not an RB2 moving forward, if they keep giving us many targets.
To me, he's like the 3rd receiver. Like
100%. I'm playing him now every single week.
Jarvis Landry and Kareem Hunt as your receiving core, which is fantastic. You have Chubb running.
Look at the talents on that team. Baker Mayfield, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Njoku in a little bit, probably like a week or 2, he's coming back. Like, they have so much talent on this team. It's amazing that they're 4-6. It's amazing. They might rattle off a couple of wins here and all of a sudden squeak in and possibly win this division. Not win the division, but win the wild card in the AFC.
Yeah, they could.
They're in the hunt, no pun intended.
They could, yeah.
So I'm going to take this. Thank you. I was supposed to take shaving cream. Here, fun fact, no Cool Whip in my entire house, no whipped cream in the house, and Jay's like, oh, just get shaving cream. No shaving cream in my entire house.
And you're married.
And I'm married. It's not a bachelor pad, I promise.
Between 2 people, no shaving cream. How is that even possible?
I use body wash or whatever when I'm shaving, and I do have a straight edge razor, and I also have an electric razor, but I don't use shaving cream. I shave in the shower. So
okay,
that's why. So I'm using flour, which I meant to put a little on there. The whole thing basically dumped out on the hand.
Which is why I'm going to scoot over a little bit.
And I'm wearing a black shirt, so this is going to look like I'm a Scarface.
I may be at a camera for a second, but I don't want to get this crap all over me. It's not my punishment.
So I'll take my punishment.
Not in my backyard.
This is going to be all over the place.
Yeah, it is.
Should I get another towel somewhere else?
No, it's going to mostly be on your shirt.
Oh, God.
Oh, most of it fell up and it was moving over.
There you get on me?
You barely got a little bit in your beard, and most of it was off. Most of it fell off.
I'll let you wipe and give me a little slap.
That was weak.
I'll let you wipe it and give me a little slap.
I'll just give you a little.
Damn, I'm in my eye. God damn.
It wasn't much of a slap.
Why'd you put in my eye?
I wanted to do it like it was Mr. Fuji with the dust in WWE. Mr. Fuji, remember that?
I do remember Mr. Fuji, but now it's in my eye, so.
A little bit of Fuji dust for you.
Wow. All right.
Just
well,
take
keep talking. Keep talking, everyone. Just leave it here for now.
Yeah, just leave it there. You got those? All right, perfect. Yeah, it's okay.
Is it in my headphones?
No, because it's not by your ear. It's mostly in your beard. All right, so let's move on to tonight's game. You have the Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans. Another good division game. What should be a good division game. If I had a bit more game on there. This line opened up at 5.5 and went down to 3.5 already, with the Houston Texans being favored by 3.5. I don't know if that had anything to do with
my lap here.
With injuries, or if it had something to do with how bad they played against Baltimore. They just could not move the ball at all against Baltimore, which I was kind of surprised. I thought I thought Baltimore would be able to move the ball easily against Houston, but that Houston would be able to put up some points, and they just didn't.
Yeah, that's true. 2 top 5 running teams here in the NFL. I believe Indianapolis is 4th, running for 141 yards a game. Houston's 5th right now at 140.7 yards per game, but no Marlon Mack. So that's going to take a little hit to the Indianapolis Colts run game there. This game right now, Jay, both teams 6-4 playing for first place. This is it. The winner of this game is going to have a 2-game lead essentially on the team below them for obviously beating them straight up. Also, though, in the same division, you have Tennessee, who's also 5-5. So the loser of this game, if Tennessee does win Week 12, is going to be tied for second place, and it's going to be a really tight race in this AFC division here. Houston last week got killed by Baltimore. Indianapolis coming off a huge win against Jacksonville. So what's going to give here? I mean, Jacoby Brissett is just playing good enough to keep the team in it, and somehow they win, and then every once in a while he has a big game.
Yeah, the Colts.
But no Marlon Mack hurts.
The Colts defense was good. They're not a bad defense. They can only give up 229 yards through the air and 96 yards on the ground. So they're not like a pushover defense, this Indianapolis Colts. And Darius Leonard is playing out of his mind right now. So something's going to have to give. I don't like the hook. I don't like that it's 3.5. I think this game should be 3 because they're at home. People are already betting the Colts in this game. And that's even with the news of Marlon Mack being out. I think that what they do is they basically go with more of a committee. Instead of it being Marlon Mack and sprinkling in a little bit of Naheem Hines, I think it honestly is like a Jonathan Williams and Jordan Wilkins type 1 and 2 combo at the start, and then Hines going to get a little bit more of an expanded role, but not much. I don't think he's going to be in for a lot.
Last week with Mack hurt and
Wilkins
Jordan
out.
Wilkins out, Jonathan Williams played 31 snaps. Naheem Hines played 24 snaps, and then Marlon Mack played 21 until he got hurt. So it looks like it's, like you said, Jonathan Williams, Wilkins, and Hines. So for me, the safest play is Naheem Hines. Because last season when Marlon Mack went out, he averaged like 8.5 targets a game.
Yeah.
I read a stat somewhere like that. So Naheem Hines for me in a PPR league is who I want. I think they're going to be down in this game. Maybe not by a lot, but as long as the Colts aren't up by 10 to 15 points, they should be throwing the ball to the running back position. Eric Ebrons, we still don't know if T.Y. Hilton's going to play or not. He's questionable, probably a game-time decision. So if you're looking at guaranteed targets that should be going to should be going to Hines and the tight end position. I do like Ebron in this game. I do like Naheem Hines. As far as the other 2 guys between Williams and Wilkins, it's just too risky for me to play either one of those guys in a fantasy lineup right now.
Yeah,
if this is your final weeks, like you have 2 weeks left to get to your playoffs, you need a reliable guy, and you could get lucky. I mean, let's be honest. You could get lucky, and you could pick the right guy. He might get you a touchdown. I'm not willing to do that when I'm trying to win and get into the playoffs.
Yeah, but if they come out before the game and they say that Wilkins is inactive again, then I do like Williams
100%.
in a flex
if you
spot.
If you can get rid of one of those 2, and it's just that guy and Hines, I like Hines and whoever starts. Mm-hmm. But Jonathan Williams looked really good on his carries last week, so it's very hard for me to believe that they're going to bring Wilkins back and then Jonathan Williams is not going to get anything. So
also, Will Fuller will be a game time decision as well in this game. So
yeah, a lot of game time decisions this game.
Keep your eyes open on that because sometimes they don't announce it until about an hour before the game, and you want to set your lineups to have it ahead of time. So
make sure you don't play him in your flex.
Yeah, don't play him in your flex spot. Like I like him to get flex numbers, Jonathan Williams, but I don't play him in your flex spot. That way
Same thing with Fuller.
Right.
DeAndre Hopkins, Jay, has accumulated 50% of Houston's air yards the last 3 weeks. 50% of the balls in the air, as far as yardage goes, have gone to DeAndre Hopkins. He's 2nd in the NFL over that time span.
I hope that
50%
keeps up, and it's not just the fact that Will Fuller's out, and so that's why he's getting that big of a target share, because I think that he needs to be used more. Like he's having good games.
This team needs Will Fuller in the lineup. They need that other option because their tight ends are just sketchy at best. Duke Johnson they throw to sometimes, but he's not anywhere near an elite guy. Yeah, Hyde's having a good year, but they don't have other receivers or tight end options that can spread the field. Like he's got 75 catches already, DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes,
I mean
yes.
Like who else? Like look at the leader for Indianapolis Colts. I just said DeAndre Hopkins has 75 catches. If you weren't looking at it right now on the screen, I would say, who's the Indianapolis Colts leader in receptions?
I would think T.Y. Hilton, even though he's missed a couple of games.
Me too.
But it's not.
The leader has 23 catches, and that's Zach Pascal.
But he also has the same amount of touchdowns that Hopkins had, which is only 4. Which is disappointing.
23 he's got 52 more catches than anyone on the Indianapolis Colts team. It's clear that DeAndre Hopkins is a superstar, and he's the one guy on this whole thing. Watson and Hopkins, the only 2 guys I feel really, really comfortable playing this game.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough one. You know what the funny thing is? I was just looking at who Tennessee plays this week, and it's Jacksonville, who's also in their division.
Yeah, who just got killed by Indianapolis.
Jacksonville is 4-6. So
right.
if Jacksonville somehow gets the upset and beats Tennessee, they'll be 5-6. Tennessee will be 5-6. One of these 2 teams will be 6-5, and then will be a 7-4. Like you're talking about a tight race. Like the fourth place team in the division is only 2 games out.
Right. But if Tennessee does win that game, then it's a 3-way race, and they're all separated by 1 win.
Right.
So
it's going to come down to the week 17 on that one.
So for our punishment this week, our wheel of punishments. Player picks. I think I've lost, I don't even know, it feels like 15 weeks in a row.
It's either 4 or 5 in a row.
I had the first pick. I went Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Jay had the second pick. He took DeAndre Hopkins and Carlos Hyde, correct?
Yes.
I came back with Nyheim Hines, and here's where it gets tricky. My second pick is T.Y. Hilton, but if he doesn't play, then I get Will Fuller. If Will Fuller doesn't play, I get Eric Ebron. So we'll clean that all up next week and let you know, because as of right now, there's too many game time decisions. So that leaves Jay with Jacoby Brissett, Carlos Hyde, DeAndre Hopkins. James for sure has Deshaun Watson, for sure has Nyheim Hines, and my third option at receiver is going to be either Hilton, if he plays, Fuller, if he plays. If neither one of them play, Eric Ebron.
Yeah, I can't wait to clean this one up.
Yeah, me too. Speaking of cleaning up, we got...
if it's public karaoke...
I don't want to get up because I got all that stuff on my...
All right, let's look here. It is... Oh, Pie Face again.
Oh, okay, I can do that. And then next week I will have shaving cream, or I'll have something else.
Or whipped cream or Cool Whip or something.
Yeah, because this is... Look at this.
Yeah.
Like Scarface, what's his name? Al Pacino? Almost call him Robert De Niro.
Yeah, Al Pacino. Say hello to my little friend.
Oh, what did he say when he was... Did he call him cockroaches or something?
No, he said a lot of things that we probably can't say on air.
Another Quaalude. She loved me in the morning.
Yeah, he said a lot of things that we probably can't say on air in that particular scene.
We're gonna clean up this cocaina because I got flour all over the place here, on the towel, on my sweatpants, on my shirt, definitely on my face and beard. I can see my nose on one side is really, really white, and on the other side is just normal.
I think it's good for your skin though.
It's perfect for the skin. Put the lotion on. Right? Rub the lotion in.
Put the lotion in the basket.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to add?
Oh, Swan gets the hose again. No, I'm good.
All right. Let's crack it.
Let's crack it.